Hello class, today we're looking at rotations. How do I define and apply rotation is our essential question. Learning intention. I'm learning to identify and apply the rules of transformations. So pause your video now and see if you can do the first two translations on your own. The first one you're going to translate, the second one you're going to identify the component form. So pause your video now, please. Okay, so for the first one, it tells me that I'm going to go right 5 and down 3. So for J, I go right 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, down 1, 2, 3. So there is J prime. Okay, for I prime, I'm going to go right 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, down 1, 2, 3. This will be I prime. Finally, A prime. Go right 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, down 1, 2, 3, and that will be A prime. Now that I've got my points drawn, I can do the rest of the figure by connecting my points. And there you have it. Okay, so this is H prime and this is H. So if you notice, I'm going backwards 1, 2. So that's a -2. I'm going down 1, -1, and we're done. Hopefully that was quick and easy for you and you did not have any problems. For rotation, we're looking at different rules. If we rotate 90 degrees, then your x and y becomes the opposite of y and x. 180 degrees, your xy becomes their opposites. 270 degree rotation, x and y becomes y and the opposite of x. And guess what? If you go 360 degrees, you're right back where you started from. So how do we apply these rules? Okay, I'm going by 180 degrees, which means I just negate both of them. So, the opposite of -5 is +5. The opposite of 3 is -3. And I'm done. By 270, it becomes y and then the opposite of x. Step 1, switch them around. So this becomes 8, 6. Number 2, negate your x value. 8, -6. Any questions? If you're still struggling with the idea, please back up and try it again. What about 90 degrees? Well, our 90-degree rotation, we switch them around and negate y. So this is the opposite of y, x. Oh man, they're exactly the same. So the opposite of -7 is 7, -7, and we're done. Okay. We're going to do some rotations by hand. Step 1 is to find your original points. Okay, L is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1. Q 1, 1, 2, 3. And U is a 0, negative 1. What is the rule for 180 degrees? You keep the letters where they're at, but you negate them. You find their opposites. So, L prime. Okay, negative 5, negative 1. What's the opposite of 5? Negative 5. Opposite of 1 is negative 1. For Q prime, same thing. What's the opposite of 1? Negative 1. What's the opposite of 3? Negative 3. And for U prime, 0 doesn't have an opposite, so I bring it down. The opposite of negative 1 is a positive 1. So I need to put those points where they belong. Negative 5, negative 1. So negative 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Negative 1 is right here, and that is L prime. 0, 1 is U prime. Negative 1, negative 3. Negative 1, negative 3 is Q prime. Now, connect your dots. If this does not look exactly like the original figure, then we need to figure out what we did wrong, because the size and shape should be the same. It's just the orientation is different. Man, we didn't talk about the negatives. So, what would be a negative 270 degrees? Okay, let's look here. If I start here and go all the way around, that is 360 degrees. This is 90, 180, 270. Okay, that means I'm 3/4 the way around my circle for 270 degrees. But if I'm going the other way, I end up here, which is at 90 degrees. So your 90-degree rotation is the same as negative 270-degree rotation. The 180 rotation is the same either way you go, because that's halfway. But what about the 270-degree rotation? What would it be the same as? It's right here. That would be negative 90 degrees. So we don't have to have a whole nother chart. We just have to realize and think about where things land. So if I'm looking at the negative 270, it's going to be the opposite of y and x. So what are my original points? X is 1, 2, 3, 4, negative 1. I is negative 4, negative 3. E is negative 3, negative 3. Okay, let's look at our translated points. Switch them around and then change y to the opposite. Okay, negative 4, negative 1 becomes negative 1, negative 4. Step 1, switch them around. Step 2, change this to its opposite. I prime. Step 1, change them around. -4, -3 becomes -3, -4. Step 2, change this to its opposite. E prime. -3, -3. Switch them around, you've still got -3, -3. Change this to your opposite. You now have the 3 points you need. Okay, 1, -4. 1, -4. 1, 2, 3, 4. X prime. 3, -4. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. I prime. 3, -3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Connect your dots. There's my new figure. How do you know you're successful? When you can identify and apply those rules for transformations, specifically rotations. Summary: rotations, and that this is a rotation rule chart. Makes your life much easier if you hang on to it.